In the previous tutorial, we looked at setting up a project and importing media into that project. Once you've got your media into Premiere, the next part of the process is usually to do some additional organisation to your media, and the more media you're dealing with, the more important this becomes. And I imported 3 folders into the Adobe project I'm working on, and as I mentioned in the previous tutorial, this then created 3 bins, which are effectively folders within the project window with the same names and with the same clips in as the original folders had with their files inside them. So I have a media bin that has my video files in there, my video clips in there. I have a graphics files bin which has some still images in it, and an audio files bin which has some audio in it. In terms of looking at the project window, there's 2 main ways of viewing the project window. One is called icon view, which I'm in at the moment, and one is called list view. In terms of what is the best overall view for this window, I actually think the list view is the best view to have the overall window in. The main reason being, at the moment, if I want to see inside one of these bins, I would have to double click on it, and what it does is it opens it up as a new tab along the top of the window. So I now have a tab open called Bin Media, and I can see the video files in it. Now there are some advantages to being able to see the video files, and I'm going to come back to this. But the problem is, if I want to see the contents of, say, my graphics bin and my media bin at the same time, I can't do it. If I go back to the project tab here now, so I can see all the bins again, and switch to the list view, now there's little drop down arrows for each of the bins, and I can see inside all of the bins simultaneously if I want to. It represents different types of media by different icons. So these clips here are audio clips, and they just have a green audio waveform icon on them. These are graphics files or still images, and if I just scroll down a bit, these are video files with audio. Incidentally, if you do have a video file that has no audio, you just see the film strip icon without the little audio waveform. One of the other advantages of the list view is you can generally see a bit more media within the space that you've got available. It's not a bad idea though to make this space bigger. So one of the things that you can do within Premiere is you can resize windows at any point. I'm going to move to the top of the project window here, and my mouse icon will turn into this little double arrow trim symbol icon. I'm going to drag upwards. As you can see, that makes the vertical height of the window bigger. And I'm going to move to the edge of the window on the right hand side and drag outwards, and that makes it bigger horizontally. Another advantage of the list view is it gives you some useful information about each of the clips. So you can see things like the frame rate, the frames per second of the video clips themselves, tell what that is. Time code information from the camera it's been shot on, duration of each clip. If I scroll along to the right here, there's some additional areas with things like audio information in, frame size information. There's even some columns in here that you can double click in, and you can actually type in your own description of the shot. So I can put some additional description information in there. Another useful thing to know about these columns are you can organise your media via the columns. So if I decide that I want to view my media in terms of, say, shortest to longest, if I go to the media duration column, click on that, that then rejigs the list, so we're going from shortest to longest, or if I click on it again, it will reverse that order, longest to shortest now. If I go back to the name column, that will list everything in alphabetical or numeric order again. These first 2 shots I've got here are interview shots. The rest of the shots here are what's called B-roll shots of London, so just general shots of London. In list view, if you want to see what an actual clip is, the way to do it is to double click on the icon for the clip. That will open the clip up in this window here called the source monitor, and the source monitor will allow you to review, play through and mark sections of that clip to use in your edit, which we're going to look at in a future tutorial. For the moment though, as you can see, look, there's a clip. It's an interview with actually myself. There's another interview clip here, and the rest of the clips are just different shots of London. So to make it easier to find the 2 interview clips, what I'm going to do is I'm first of all going to rename them, and then I'm going to put them in a sub bin inside the media bin called interview. So To rename a clip here, all you do is you click on the clip first, and you click again on the name part of the clip, and then you type in the name that you want. I'm going to select the second clip here now, do the same thing, and then just click away on any of the other clips to set the name. Whether you rename all your shots or not is debatable, but I would definitely look at renaming the shots that you think you're going to need to come and find more regularly within the edit itself. Next, what I want to do is I want to take my 2 interview shots and I want to put them in a bin inside media called interview, and I want to put all the rest of the clips inside a bin inside media called B-roll. To create new bins, again, there's multiple ways of doing this. I'm going to show you 2 ways of doing it. In fact, let me just shut the media bin for a second. Okay, I've got no bin selected at the moment. There is a button here, the new bin button. If I click on that, that will automatically create a new bin for me, which I can then give a name to. So I'm going to call this one interview. Just like with folders on your system, you can drag bins into other bins, just like you can drag folders into other folders. So I'm going to take the interview folder bin, and I'm going to drag it into the media bin. If I open that up, look, there it is. Another quick way though of making a sub bin is to select the bin that you want the sub bin in. And again, if I go down and click on the new bin button now, it will create a sub bin for me. It's already in the media bin. If I just undo that for a second. If I select the bin again, and this time I'm going to do a right click on the bin, that will give me various options to do with that bin, one of which is new bin. So I'm going to select that, and I'm going to call this one B-roll. Okay, so there's my 2 new bins. Now what I want to do is organise the media into those bins. So the big Ben shot there needs to go in the B-roll bin. So I can do that by literally just picking it up and dragging and dropping it again. Close the B-roll bin up. Look, can you see that's now inside there? If I want to group select clips to drag and drop them, if I select the first clip, hold shift down, that would select all the clips in between. If I wanted to add to that selection, I can just hold command down, and that will let me add to that selection without selecting ones in between. And I can then just again drag drop into the relevant bin. I'm going to close that bin up now so I've got a bit more room. So here's the rest of the B-roll clips. I'm just going to select all of those by shift clicking again, drop them into B-roll. So I'm just going to take the 2 interview clips here now and just drag them and drop them into the interview bin. Well, now I've got my media all nicely organised into name bins. I can find clips quicker when I need to find them. This makes my whole workflow faster when I actually get into the edit side of the process. It's always worth doing a little bit of organisation at the start of a project, and bins being one of the primary ways of organising the media. What I would say is the bigger the project, the more important it is to stay organised. The more media you're dealing with, the more it pays off to organise that media into name bins, name clips, that type of thing. However, what you call your bins and what you put in those bins really does vary from project to project. So it's whatever you think is logical to help you find content quicker when you're under the pressure of the actual editing process itself. The one disadvantage of the list view is that I can't see a clip visually without going into the relevant bin and double clicking on a clip to open it up. And there's going to be times within an edit where you just want to visually overview a number of shots so you can find the one that you're looking for visually. So this is where the icon view comes back in. Now, I've already mentioned that if I double click on a bin, it opens it up as a new tab along the top of the project window here. So I'm going to double click on the B-roll bin to open it up. And as you can see there now, I have a new tab called B-roll. I'm going to go back down to the 2 buttons that let me switch between icon and list view, and I'm going to click back on the icon view button to switch those back into icons. Now I can see all of the clips in the bin visually. There's a slider in the bottom left hand corner here that lets you zoom in or out on those icons. There's a sort icons button here that lets you order them based on the column headings that you saw in the list view. So look, name organises them into alphabetical order, or I could go media duration again, organise them in terms of shortest to longest, or just back to user order, in which case I can move them around and drag them and rearrange their order myself. You can review the clip by hovering your mouse over them and dragging left or right, and that gives you a little preview within the icon there of the clips. You don't hear any audio with that. If you want to hear audio, you click on the clip. There's a little handle underneath each clip which you can then drag through, and then you hear the audio at the same time. And if you want to play the clip, you just click on it and hit your spacebar, and that will play through the clip for you. If there are any clips that you definitely think, I don't want to use those clips, another thing that you can do is select a clip by clicking on it with your mouse, and backspace on your keyboard will delete that clip. The great thing about this setup is that you can switch back between your bin tab in the icon view and the list view of the main project. And even if you shut down the bin tab with the icon view in, when you reopen it again, it remembers that you switched to icon view and opens it back up.